school, how much of it do you actually need? What does it mean? Where does it fit? We're going to comb through some of that in here.
And before we do, we got a free masterclass for you. And remember, if you're creating an e-learning program, an online course, we want to make sure that you are successful every time, which is what this free masterclass dives into. So definitely go, it's linked below, go check it out. We'll see you there. But let's dive into this video first, right? Diploma degree. So Daniel, when we're talking about a diploma, right? What do people think a diploma or a degree truly is? What do they think?
I think most of us believe once you go to school, get your degree, get your diploma degree, success. Very abstract. Don't necessarily know how we're going to define success, but it's out there for me because I did what people told me to do and I got my piece of paper.
Exactly, it's success. I mean, that's what they think, right? Because when we are growing up, everybody thinks that is the finish line. We gotta, get through high school, get the diploma, go through college, get the degree, and then we're done, right? There's no continuous learning, right? There's nothing else that we gotta build on. I'm gonna make 6 figures right away. I'm gonna get a BMW or Bentley right away. That's it, we're done, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, that's not
how it works.
Is. That's not how it works, exactly.
Because what is actually happening when somebody goes to school and they've got that diploma or that degree, this gives you 2 things. The ability to say that you can start and finish something, which is extremely important. We don't want to minimize the idea of going to school and completing that. High school, 2-year, 4-year, grad school. Don't want to minimize that. But actually, that's all it's saying is that you can finish what you started, which is extremely important. The second thing it's doing is allowing you to brand yourself. It's giving you a differentiator, a separation point from other people in the marketplace that you might find yourself in. Ultimately, that's where the work starts. School is the opportunity to actually have a chance to go and do. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful once you start going and doing, which is unfortunate because that's kind of we're kind of sold the guise of school. Do it, complete it, success is around the corner for you.
Absolutely, man. And again, you hit this nail on the head, right? Because at this point, especially after we got a diploma, how old are we, right? 18 maybe,
18, yeah.
Right? If we get a degree, we're maybe 21, 22, around there, right? We're just getting started.
You don't know yourself, don't know anything.
Exactly, we're just getting started. Jordan Peterson said this in a podcast, he's like, when you're 18 years old, 6 years ago, you were 12. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what is, like you said, it is instilling, right, a habit of starting and finishing something.
Correct, which is important.
Which is extremely important. Right? Extremely important. So, the big question then comes after this is, do you actually need a degree in diploma? Right? And I think there's some key talking points there as well. So what do you think? Do you need a diploma?
I kind of want to say, because I know a few examples of high school dropouts, if you will, that are now multi-million, pushing billionaires. But in all actuality, yes, we need school, right?
Of course.
What they're being taught, kind of dovetailing into our other piece, is more important, I believe, but the idea that there needs to be an institution that's saying you came here, you were duly attending, and you finished is extremely important, for sure. So to answer your question, Hector, do you need a diploma? Yes. I mean, generally speaking, the high school diploma says a handful of things. It says that, well, never mind what it says. You completed, some people don't. It puts you if you go for a job, it puts you in a different stack of papers than another stack of papers. That kind of stuff is important. But more importantly, I think it shows that you can finish something that you started. Sure. Even though you might have been forced by your parents or went on your own volition, you still finish something while you started. There's a few exceptions to that where you've got billionaires, multimillionaires that were high school dropouts that actually made great businesses. But that's the exception to the rule, I believe. I wouldn't advise people to do away with your high school diploma.
I mean, it's a foundation, really, right? And one thing I remember, before we even started recording this video, you brought up this word access. Right? It gives you access. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, and I appreciate you jogging the memory. So access to places that they're not, barrier of entry is, can you check this box? And there's a lot of jobs that are like that. I mean, you can't even work at McDonald's nowadays unless you've got a high school diploma. Sure. Once upon a time, McDonald's was a place where anybody could go and find some decent employment, regardless of your education level. And it's just a separation space, a separation point. And if you don't have it, it can cut off some access. Which kind of gives a good dovetail into the degree aspect of things in post-high school, because do you need that? So, and actually that's a good segue into the 4-year post-high school. Like, do you need a college degree? I'm gonna say not necessarily. But a couple of different ways to look at that. I think the first one is, do you know what you wanna do per se, why you're going to college to be educated. It shouldn't be for a social experiment. It shouldn't be to learn yourself generally.
Exactly.
But ultimately, do you know why you want to go to college? If you don't, the best bet, in my opinion, let's find out what you're good at and go get into the workforce. Because number one, you already don't know yourself. But once you start to learn yourself, you'll probably have a little bit of money in your pocket. Then you can go back to school, be educated for what you actually want to go for, pay for it out of pocket. You're not getting in debt. It's a different association with the degree, because it's very value-based, which is what the whole e-learning platform is about.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll add to that. I mean, really, do you need a degree if you want to party? I'm just kidding.
No. No,
I'm just kidding. No, I mean, really, unless you're, of course, trying to become a doctor or a neurosurgeon or an engineer that does require that higher level education. Absolutely.
I like to know my doctor went to school.
Exactly, 100%, right? But if we're getting a history degree, or there's nothing wrong with a history degree, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are really, really important and critical, right? At the end of the day, the world that we live in a skill-based world. What is one of the biggest challenges in the United States right now? College debt. And the degree that they got can't even cover the expense of that debt, and they're in debt for the next 30, 40, 50 years. Some people are even passing it on to their children, for crying out loud.
I've seen people die with debt, which is like college debt, which is crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
So ultimately, do you need a diploma? We're saying yes, given the way society is structured, not necessarily. Do you need a degree? If you're a doctor, oncologist, yeah. But the way life is set up, not necessarily. What you do need though, which is so important, which is what these guys are doing so well, is this idea of continuous learning, creating a learning as a habit and as a muscle that is never really ending. The idea that it's done when you're 18, or it's done when you're 22, or it's done when you're 26, 27, after you've done your residency or whatever, it's truly false. It's a habit building muscle that we need to make sure that is readily available in the front of people's minds.
Mic drop, ladies and gentlemen. That was awesome. Again, thank you for the likes and the subscribes. We got that masterclass link below. Go check it out, and we'll see you there.